Hello and welcome everybody to this HeflaTV presentation of the Join Dota League season number 3. It's gonna be the Division 2 Europe Central of Fear versus Fabulous5, a 2-game series. Well, my name is Coucher and I am joined by Mike Loris. I hope I got them pronounced it correctly.
Oh yeah, you are spot on, but it looks like we're going to be having one of those games where one of the spectators, and it's an unknown spectator, just not loading in. It's not me for the record.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I think he's the guy who we all were actually waiting for.
The co-caster of the other channel.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's usually the case. But I mean, as far as the teams are concerned, at least they are here, and we should be just loading into the game once again, I think. Usually it just happens
Uh,
fast, like back into the lobby and bam, try again.
well, that's
So,
just fantastic.
indeed. And actually, coming into this game, I'm not too sure how familiar you are with either team, but do you have any favorites coming into this?
I actually haven't casted any of these players before. Like, I'm looking through all of them, and none of them look too familiar to me. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be much use on that end for you.
Yeah, I guess I quested a moderate amount of both of those teams. Central Fear, they've been looking pretty solid overall. Again, well, in Join the League, the previous seasons, as well as just in smaller cups like Gigabyte Challenge and so on. But Fabulous5, they definitely can hold their own, and as happens so often in 2-game series, when teams are at the same level, it's probably going to be 1-1, I think.
I mean, it's always good to see. It's much better it be 1-1 than, two one-sided stomps. No one wants to see that.
Yeah, they certainly do not, and well. But draft-wise, do I think we'll see anything out of the ordinary? I mean, I myself haven't seen any Dota at all for a week because my PC was out of action, but has actually anything changed as far as the metagame goes?
Not really. I mean, of course, you still have your super powerful heroes that are always picked up first round. You have your Razors, Shadow Shamans, Sky Rats, heroes around those lines. Uh, there's been, I want to say a little bit more Jakiro, but it might just be that he's always been kind of an inconsistent hero, so I've been coincidentally landing on the games with more Jakiro. But it's a fun hero to see. I mean, you could build around him, certainly. So I'm personally hoping for that. I love the hero.
Yeah, the tier is definitely pretty damn strong, and like you've said, we have been starting to see it more and more, I guess. Even some teams, well, some crazy teams like Balkan Bears, I guess, run it in the mid lane role.
Hmm.
So maybe we will indeed see that. As we are now in the draft, actually, everybody managed to load in the second time around. Thank God for that. And I guess we'll see just, yeah, Razor banned out, so probably like Doombringer, Lycan, maybe the Brewmaster, something like that to follow.
Yeah, probably your just original bands, the first two bands, and whenever the metagame gets a little bit stale, the first two bands for either team are usually going to be more or less the same. It gets really interesting once you see, a random hero that's not necessarily a top tier 100% ban pick hero, because there's certainly some respect going on.
Yeah, there definitely is, I mean, but usually it's the case when a certain team is like known for a special strat, like maybe running meepos or what have you. But no, Central Fear, banning out the Faceless Void, is actually, it's a hero that has way less success than you would think by the way he is banned and picked so often.
I think it just allows the teams a lot of flexibility. You could put him in the off lane, you could put him in a solo safe lane, or a tri-lane safe lane, and then no matter what, really, you'll get some initiation off of that hero. And that's what teams, I think, nowadays are kind of lacking. They have a whole bunch of fighting potential, but actually starting the fight on their terms is something that teams don't really have. I mean, aside from like a Tidehunter. Ooh, and Central of Fear, first picking the Tinker. No Brewmaster, no Shadow Shaman, no Skyrat. It's going to be the Tinker.
Yeah, it's kind of a risky pick to be honest if you pick it this early on, I feel like. I mean, it's so easy now for Fabulous5 to actually counter it with their entire draft, apart from just maybe having like 1 or 2 picks in the end to try to counter it. What's your stand on actually going for that first pick Tinker?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just too easy to counter for Fabulous5. They could pick up the Storm Spirits and a Nature's Prophet and a Spirit Breaker and everyone in the book to counter Tinker. And I also think Tinker as the first hero isn't exactly a hero that you build around. Like, yes, he does contribute a lot to the team, but he doesn't contribute something that's super unique. Like, his split pushing is good, but it's hard to build an entire team around split pushing.
Yeah, it definitely isn't, man. I just fear for that pick. Maybe they have some superior strategy actually thought around that hero. But we'll see about that. As Fabulous5 looks like they're maybe a little bit thrown off guard as well by this certain pick here. Because they are in the reserve time already. Usually the first two picks, they come out lightning fast almost even. So they're definitely taking their time to just decide what they want to go for. As far as supports go, yep, Skyriff Mage, Shadow Shaman, wanted to call one of those, but Skyriff Mage is good against the Tinker because if you can somehow get vision of him, just set a Mystic Flare once Tinker is trying to TP out in the trees or something and kill him like that.
And the seal is one of the best ways of shutting him down once he has his Blink Dagger. Just stop him from doing anything. Of course, he'll still be able to Dagon you or Ethereal Blade you once, but not being able to rearm is pretty crippling for a Tinker. So I do like the Skywrath Mage pick. There's really not many scenarios where I would say Skywrath Mage is a really bad pick. And yeah, they're going to go Skywrath Mage Brewmaster. It's going to be a rather vanilla opening from Fabulous5 after seeing that Tinker.
Yeah, it definitely ended. It's rather standard. I was like, maybe they're gonna go for something crazy with their reserve time, but nope, not happening. In Central Fear, picking up an Earthshaker is actually really good in just standing around the mid lane, maybe helping stack camps for the Tinker or something, and just provide that defensive fissure if need be.
Yeah, it's a great hero just to have overall because of, again, it's a long range initiation. You get even more range once you get a Blink Dagger, but usually those don't come up for at least 20-ish minutes. But yeah, Earthshaker Tinker is a pretty good, nice combination because Tinker, if you lock someone in with a March in the Machine or something like that, doesn't happen often, but it does open the door for early game kills, especially if you roam into the mid lane if you are that Earthshaker. So it's a solid combo, and Earthshaker, of course, one of the premier support heroes at this stage in Dota, so can't really go wrong with something as strong as that.
I mean, it's so weird how Earthshaker just rose to popularity all of a sudden. He was all but forgotten, but suddenly teams started picking him up and were like, oh crap, he's actually pretty damn good. Just early game rotations, but of course, the Earthshaker player itself has to be so on point with just the early rotations, most of all. Just being where necessary, not just camping around the bottom tri lane or something and, I don't know, not doing much of anything.
And after you miss that one fissure block, that first one that you throw, you're just on slight tilt for all the rest of them. So it is a kind of support-based momentum hero, I guess you could say. Once you start hitting those fissure blocks, you're on top of the world, and you're probably getting your team a couple kills as well. So it is a little bit of a volatile hero. Like, I don't really like the hero that much because it's a melee support, which is always a little bit awkward. But as far as melee supports go, if you gave me a choice, I would definitely select Earthshaker to be on my team.
Yeah, it's like either Earthshaker, maybe Sand King as well. Sand King is actually also a hero who just... I mean, he was so damn popular because of his fast jungling, of course, just stacking them up yourself, Sandstorm. But that hero has just fallen off as well, especially after the Skyriff Mage just is the first pick for almost anybody. And actually looking at the bans now, Fabulous5, they ban out some form of push as well as another offlaner, the Nage Prophet and the Centaur, whereas Central Fear just focusing on all-out push, taking out Death Prophet and a Pugna. And of course, Pugna does counter Tinker so heavily, so I mean, I guess that ban just makes sense.
Wow, and a Lone Druid and Viper pick. Central Fear definitely going to be going a little bit deep into the pushing tank, I think. You always get a little bit when you pick up a Tinker. Lone Druid with that bear on the front lines could be seeing some bear synergy, or maybe just have a good response to the Viper, which they might expect to be going to the mid lane. It's always a little bit of a toss-up whenever you see Viper and Brewmaster on the same team. But Lone Druid is a pretty capable mid lane hero, but going back to Central Fear's bans, I don't really know how much I like these. I mean, they have Tinker, which is one of the best, if not the best, counter push hero in the game. So, like, by spamming out rockets, by spamming out March in the Machines, any push that Fabulous5 would have had by picking up those two heroes would have not been too effective.
I think the Pugna ban is mostly due to the Nether Ward, and Death Prophet overall, he's one of the heroes who can still slowly push even though the March of the Machines is down because the Exorcism, the Spirit range is pretty damn huge, but I mean, I would have preferred maybe any other ban apart from the Death Prophet with Pugna. It's just so hard to play Tinker against the Nether Ward. Although then again, I mean, Fabulous5 having a Skyriff and the Brewmaster, it definitely did not indicate that they're gonna go for like a pushing strategy or anything.
Yeah, I mean, Brewmasters, Skyrath Mage typically aren't even they're not very pushing slanted. They have a chance to pick up someone like a Shadow Shaman, and then in which case I would have said, okay, Death Prophet Pugna, that makes a little bit more sense. Speaking of, it's going to be Shadow Shaman, so they're going to be getting a little bit of pushing, but they're not going to be going super turbo all out. We're going to be winning in 15 minutes kind of pushing. Interested to see what Central of Fear want to do with this Lone Druid pickup. He's not a hero that's been seen all that much lately.
Yeah, definitely isn't. Well, one good thing, of course, is already that Tinker can just TP to the Spirit Bear, so they'll have a natural carrier, so Tinker actually doesn't have to TP to the lane, he can join the fight straight out. So that's always gonna be good. And well, the Jakiro, you mentioned it before the draft even began,
Called
and
it.
it came.
Psychic. Literally psychic.
Actually, that gives them some pretty decent amount of push now as well. Liquid Fire and of course Lone Druid, Spirit Bear, once he hits level 7, Lone Druid itself gets level 4 into the Spirit Bear, has to demolish. So if the Tinker has the early boost travels, it's actually really hard to defend the pushes if the Mars of the Machines just keep on coming down under the tower.
All right, so what do you think Central of Fear are going to cap off their lineup with? Because they clearly want to go for at least a little bit of pushing. With Lone Druid, you get some pretty interesting options, like Juggernaut becomes a little bit better. Even someone like an Ogre Magi, which I'm personally hoping for, though realistically it's not going to happen, gets a lot better. What do you think Central of Fear are going to look to pick up?
Oh man, that's a tough question. A lot of it comes down to how they want to lane the Lone Druid, whether it be off lane or just being in the mid lane. Because at the moment, I mean, there's just so many offlaners are banned already. Faceless Void, Clockwork, Nature's Prophet, Darkseer, and a Centaur, even a Doombringer I guess could fit that role. So Central Fear, if the Lone Druid is forced into the offlane, leaving probably the Tinker mid lane up against either a Viper or Brewmaster, I guess if they really want to strengthen their push, something like a Juggernaut wouldn't be too bad. The Blade Fury definitely could come in handy as well against both the Shadow Shaman and the Skywrath Mage. But man, it's really too hard for me to tell here. And Fabulous5 going for a Morphling as well. Central Fear, they have to make their pick based on just getting a hero who can actually combat the Morphling late game if need be.
Between Tinker and Lone Druid, I think they're not really planning on going super late, but they can. With the Jakiro and Lone Druid combination, they're most certainly looking to end the game before Morphling gets really super powerful. Morphling does have a small window in the early game where his waveform is one of the most powerful nukes in the game, which is certainly very useful for Fabulous5 if they're going to be fighting early and often. But Central Fear, I think they do have enough in their tank to end the game before they really have to worry a lot about this Morphling. And really the only thing that Fabulous5 are missing at that point is a little bit of initiation. So Brewmaster's going to have to get a quick Blink Dagger if he wants to deal with his upcoming push from Central of Fear. And with this last pick, we'll see exactly how deep they want to go into that pushing lineup.
Yeah, I guess something like a Luna, if they wanted to run like a Jakiro, Earthshaker, Luna, safe lane, Lone Druid off and Tinker mid. I guess it could be possible. It would also give them a lot of extra nuke damage, which is not a necessity, but it always helps against Morphling, of course. Just to make sure the Strength Morph doesn't kick him properly and doesn't keep him alive.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty good pickup. It's also a guaranteed hero to pick up something like a Ring of Aquila, which, when you're making a push with the Lone Druid Spirit Bear, the extra armor can be truly life-saving if you're in trouble or whatever, but it'll give you a lot of momentum in the lane, and as of right now, Lone Druid, not exactly a hero to pick up a Ring of Aquila, and certainly no one else in Central Fear is going to pick it up. Maybe a Ring of Basilius, but having that Ring of Aquila certainly is going to help them in those pushes if they do want to go for that, and it'll help them fight a little bit earlier. Luna is one of those carry heroes that gets active really early on. Once she hits level 6, she could start looking to help in those fights.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, they haven't decided on their pick yet, but Fabulous5 with their Morphling, how well do you actually think that hero fits in their lineup? You were talking about the waveform being a pretty strong ability, just a really high damage nuke, but all in all, the rest of their 4 heroes, they are rather early mid-game focused more. So Morphling, is it a smart choice to just go for that hard or late game kind of carry as the last pick and just hope that the rest of the 4 can buy enough space? Or
I think the only thing that would be bad for Fabulous5 is if they go for something like a Midas on Morphling without getting him sufficient space first. If he goes for that, then he could certainly be punished. With this last Mirana pickup, Central of Fear get a decent arrow combination. It's by no means guaranteed. Fissure Stun doesn't last for very long. Ice Path isn't exactly your best disable in the game, but they will be able to hit some arrows, and they also have a hero to hold the Ring of Aquila. Not exactly the final hero that I was really expecting from Central of Fear. It's more of a mid-game balance strategy now, I would say.
yeah, I mean, I guess Moonlight Shadow is always a nice thing to have, just forcing the enemy supports into some more detection, just wasting that gold, not getting any useful items like Blink Dagger or Shadow Shaman, for example. But like you said, the arrows, they definitely aren't a guaranteed hit at the moment. Between the Fissure and the Ice Path, it should buy enough time if both of those abilities land. But it's a if. And of course Mirana, I guess, that hero is really capable of just soloing up a lane as well. So that frees up the Earthshaker and the Jakiro to just rotate around, maybe set up kills on other lanes.
Yeah, I mean, when you pick up a Jakiro, usually you want to be picking up Liquid Fire. Like that's going to be your priority most of the time, so you could both chip away at enemy heroes, and then once you get to the tower, chip away at those enemy towers. So in that sense, it's not a great combination. Usually Ice Path is held only at level 1, or you'll have level 2 Ice Path eventually, but this Fissure stun duration and the Ice Path stun duration isn't that much, especially when you compare it to the usual Mirana combinations in the Shadow Demon and or Bane. But for right now, Fabulous5, they're all smoked up, and I'm going to very quickly introduce them. We have Emily going to be playing the Skywrath Mage leading. Top is going to be on the Morphling. Skewer Blomst is going to be on the Viper. I have no idea how to pronounce that name. Kavorka is on the Brewmaster, and Gimli is going to be following up the rear as a Shadow Shaman.
Yes, and for Central Fear, RNT playing the Lone Druid might still get caught, but he's in the offlane. Noctis taking up the mid lane Tinker role, and their safe lane tri-lane will be consisting of Daywalker on the Earthshaker, with Klasinki on the Mirana, and Mama Club on the Jakiro. And as far as the Viper is concerned, every time I cast him, I just call him Blomst, because I have no idea how to pronounce it either.
Okay, the Viper is going to be played by Blomst. They took a really long route to possibly look for this lone druid, but of course they didn't find him. Sentry Ward was placed in that ancient camp area, so Tinker, if he wants to get that going, is going to have his team spend a little bit more as far as investment is concerned, but not really too much being let off with that level 1 smoke. Usually they don't actually lead to anything.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking as well that they're maybe gonna go for like a sneaky wait around this area here. Wait for the Lone Druid to come back to creep block, but then of course it would have meant that Fabulous5's players themselves would have been late to their own lanes. But Spirit Pair taking some harassment, although still succeeding rather nicely in just pulling the creep out.
We're seeing something a little bit strange here from Fabulous5. They're going to put the Morphling in the mid lane up to put the Brewmaster on the solo off lane. Granted, Fabulous5 don't have really the best lanes to deal with the enemies based off of what they've picked up, but what do you think about this? Brewmaster offlane certainly isn't exactly the most popular place for teams to put him.
Yeah, it's something I have seen way more often in Southeast Asian Dota. They've actually ran it like even before TI then. It's really tanky. I mean, the hero just with the Drunken Brawler and the Stout Shield. I mean, Shakira is not doing anything at all to him almost. So I guess he can survive well enough, although not having an escape mechanism or anything. So once the Fissure block comes out, he's probably gonna be doomed. But it just, Fabulous5's lineup, it was, I guess, either aggressive tri-lane from them or just have the Brewmaster on the offlane, because there's really no other hero that could have taken up the role.
I think I actually would have liked an aggressive tri-lane from Fab5. Shadow Shaman, Skywrath, and Viper is pretty devastating, and of course that would have meant that Lone Druid would be up against Brewmaster. Still not the best lane for the Brewmaster, or if you put Morphling on top lane, then it'll be Morphling versus Lone Druid, something like that. It's really hard to find a favorable lane against Lone Druid without just overpowering him with sheer numbers. So we'll see how well this Brewmaster is going to do. I mean, I was watching him for a little bit. He dodged like 3 attacks in a row from the Jakiro, including 1 Liquid Fire. So, if he gets luck like that, then he'll never die in this lane.
Yeah, at least he's not getting too much XP at the moment. Of course, the supports did make it a priority to actually get the double pull through, but now since both camps are just respawning, the Brewmaster should be able to at least hit that level 2, get the Thunderclap for himself, just maybe even get a little bit more aggressive. But I mean, the Brewmaster, he needs that level 6, and he needs it as early as humanly possible, especially with the lineup that they have. I mean, he needs the Primal Split to just create space on the map, maybe get some kills, maybe force fights under the tower as well, just to get like Mass Serpent Wars down, get the tower down after the fight, so that the Morphling can just get at least Link Ends, maybe a Midas. And speaking of Morphling's items, what item choice do you think he's gonna go for even?
Well, he's packing the ring, the Wraith Band right off the bat. Not really a huge tell as of yet. Could be a Ring of Aquila, and if they want to be going on the aggressive at all, then early on it really should be. I don't think he's picked up a bottle just yet. So yeah, definitely the bottle is going to be first, but I don't really think this game is going to be a Lincoln Sphere game. It'll protect him somewhat against the Tinker, maybe if the Earthshaker targets a Fissure, but Aside from that, it's mostly going to be random AoE that the Lincoln Sphere isn't really going to be protecting up against. I actually wouldn't mind seeing a BKB first from Fab5's Morphling, especially if they know that the Radiant's going to be going aggressive early on. Having an early BKB means your Morphling could fight.
Yeah, and I definitely agree that the Lincolns might not be too much of a use anyway. But, I mean, you spoke of the BKB, and that's exactly where I was gonna aim at as well. It's like, usually Morphling, he definitely doesn't want to pick up that item if it can be helped. But Central Fair, they just have so much lockdown between themselves, and of course Tinker, once he gets huge, there's no avoiding a BKB. Because if he gets like the Ethereal Blade take on 5, even a Morphling is just fodder to a Tinker then.
Yeah, so I do think BKB is probably going to be the safest choice for the Morphling. Of course, this will very much so depend on if the Fabulous5 supports ever rotate down to that mid lane. If they get Morphling a kill or two, then he could definitely look to pick up a very early shotgun, in which case he'll be able to run a train over the Central Fear side. They have very, very soft heroes. And speaking of, Gimli as well as Emily, they're looking for a little bit of something. They see Daywalker whacking away at their sentry ward, so maybe they're going to go look for some aggression, but I don't think they have the levels or the damage to kill off this Earthshaker.
Yeah, I mean, they are level 2, so I guess they could maybe get the kill, but mid lane Noctis, the slow comes out from the concussive shot, but top, he's too far away, and Noctis, he's gonna be safe. The Fisher is there as well, so, I mean, that Fisher was just in case. It's like, I'm here as well, guys, I'm here.
Value Fisher, got to get those 2 hero stuns. So much damage per mana spent. So, yeah, unfortunately, no successful rotation from Fab5. They didn't get any D-warding or anything like that. They just gave Lone Druid a little bit of space. What are you going to do? Sometimes it happens like that. Having no boots on these supports, though, certainly not going to help gank the Tinker. Even though Tinker is not exactly the fastest hero in the game, closing the distance off that concussive shot is very important. And RNT on the top side, well, similar situation there. A little bit of poking harassment, but ultimately not much of anything.
Yeah, and you mentioned them not having boots. Actually, I think I really love is just having one support start with boots straight out, especially if it's a hero like Shadow Shaman whose movement speed is just so horrible early on. And a lot of those ganks actually rely on the Shadow Shaman getting in range to just follow up with the long duration shackles. So, starting with boots of speed definitely could have made the kill happen, and 4 minutes into the game already, still no first blood happening. Of course, I guess the lanes are rather passive as they are anyway, and unless there's a smoke gank, nobody's gonna get really caught off guard because both teams have a reasonable amount of vision as well.
With the Earthshaker rotation out of the bottom lane, the Brewmaster's actually getting a lot more space to do whatever the hell he wants. He's level 3, which, you know, based off of the early start that he had, I would have thought he would still be level 1, level 2 at this point, but he's getting some experience, and you mentioned before that Brewmaster just needs level 6. Having gold for Blink Dagger certainly is very nice, but hell, having your split online at all is going to be really make or break for the Fab5 side, especially if they're eventually going to start balling up and putting on a little bit of aggression. We see Ring of Basilius phase boots picked up by Mirana, so she's pretty much ready to fight, and they could look for a kill on this Brewmaster, although not when the ice path misses, and then not when he gets like a million dodges. He's going to start taking a lot of damage though. Does get the clap off. It hits really hard with the stars. Secondary star will follow him in as well. Phase boot shot. That's going to be an easy first blood. Brewmaster getting a little bit too overconfident there.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake by him, I think. Especially since now he's actually missing like 2 creep waves worth of XP almost. We'll get the TP in, but oh, arrow straight in the face. Ice path to fall as well. He will survive this time around, I think at least. But he definitely stood around for way too long. Just tried to kite the creeps. I don't know if he wanted his own creep wave to make it so that the Radiant creep wave actually doesn't get under the tower or something. But way too greedy there. Paid with his life, but at least he's back now. Level 4.5, so at least getting something. But finally, the first blood is out, and I guess the enemy offlaner, Central Fear's own RNT on the Lone Druid, can play a little bit safer now.
I think he expected there to be an arrow, and he didn't expect there to be 3 points in Starstorm, because that's really where most of the damage came from. Not only the initial cast, but also that secondary star that comes out. In the meantime, mid lane, let's see the Shadow Shaman get his stun off this time. No, the Fissure denies him, and now he's taking tower shots. Gimli's going to go down way before Noctis. The Laser's going to secure that kill for the Tinker, and immediately taking tower shots as well. He's going to go down on top of that super greedy play. Tunnel vision. The Morphling does come in. Gets the kill, but is that worth it? 2 for 1? Morphling might even go down as well. He has 1 bottle charge, and well, the Fissure's gonna miss, but Top's in a very, very awkward place right now.
And he's still running. Ice Path of course catches him, but do they have enough damage? Liquid Fire is there. Top. Oh man. It's so close to Walker. Doesn't have enough for another Fissure. Too bad that the last Fissure actually didn't connect. Didn't do any damage. But now Tinker, come on, Laser. It's not enough. Ice Path just barely off target as well. So he does make it out, but man, that dive was so costly for them.
They got like really stuck in tunnel vision. They're like, okay, we're gonna kill the Tinker no matter what. Just go for it. It's like they didn't realize they got hit with a fissure, and then they were walking into tower range, and then they were dead. Oh, really rough to see that from any heroes, and especially when you're trying to smoke gank a hero that's as important as a Tinker, and then end up giving away a kill and an assist to someone who really needs that gold early on. It's a really poor play from Fab5, and that may end up biting them in the ass later on.
Yeah, and actually, looking at the farm overall, Viper on the safe lane is the highest farmer in the game, 47 and 20 compared to Mirana's 36 and 9. Of course, Klasinki, he also got the first blood, so getting some nice gold from there. But Shackle's top lane, Lone Druid is going for the TP out. Will he be successful? No, the Viper strike and the right clicks will do the job in the end. But Gimli, the Shackles actually got disrupted by the entangling claws of the Lone Druid Spirit Bear. A little bit lucky there, but in the end, didn't make too much of a difference. If he was only level 6, had the true form for himself, probably would have been able to tank it up, but not quite yet there.
I think if he was level 6, it definitely would have made a difference, especially since Blomst, he's going for a very poison attack heavy Viper build. Normally it's, in this scenario I'd say, probably go for a lot more Nether Toxin, because the Lone Druid enemy is nowhere near you in lane, so you will have that Nether Toxin last hit creeps, stuff like that. But going for max out poison attack, something that you rarely ever see, won't really help him do that much damage, mostly just a lane control skill.
Yeah, it's definitely true, and actually now the supports from Fabulous5, they're hanging around mid lane as well. Top, Morphling gets himself a haste rune, and will the supports now rotate? Yes, they are. The ping's coming out as well. Daywalker, he's aware of the supports coming around, but Daywalker, I'm not too sure if he can get in position fast enough to save the Lone Druid here.
Well, they're gonna look to go for it. There is the Moonlight Shadow and the Fissure, putting Gimli in a very awkward position. He's gonna try to circle around the Fissure, but gets stunned and goes into a tier 2 tower. Gimli, what? No, don't go back! Gimli, what were you doing, man?
Oh, knocked this mid lane, still under the Moonlight Shadow, is gonna be able to survive. Laser into Morphling. But this Fissure just making such a difference, and the Earthshaker so far, he's been just spot on in his positioning and the timing. Just saving people left and right here at the moment. And of course setting up this kill, and well, Klasinki went for a 9-minute Hand of Midas on the Mirana. So gonna gear up for some late game as well.
Well, they have managed to secure the bottom lane tier 1 in the meantime while all that kind of messed up action was happening. They forced the Brewmaster out, and then just with Liquid Fire, which is by the way level 3 now on the Jakiro, getting down towers is so easy and so safe. Like, they don't have to invest much of anything. Just move up, cast Liquid Fire on it, and already this tower is getting absolutely demolished. And okay, my bad. Missed the kill there, but the bottom lane.
But bottom lane Jakiro gets slowed down by the concussive shot. Actually trying to choke it around. Arrow into the Viper as well. No Viper strike yet. Ice Path, nope, shackled up. So Mama Club will finally fall down. But actually 2 kills for Fabulous5. Really well done for them. They were actually trying to chase the Courier as well, which brought out the Hand of Midas to Mirana. But Brewmaster, once he hit level 6 from the bottom lane, he smoked up, unless he found an invis rune. I think he smoked up and actually came mid lane just using the Primal Split to get the kill on Tinker. And however much you can delay the Boots of Travels, it's always going to be worth it.
Yeah, it's going to set the Tinker back just a little while longer. He does have his Soul Ring up, and they have been stacking 1, 2, 3, 4, I want to say 5 camps of Ancients in the meantime. That they've dewarded it, and then they dewarded it some more. So Tinker will be able to cash in really hard. That might even be enough gold to give him his completed travels off of that. So despite Fabulous5's early ward, they didn't keep up with the blocking, and well, the Tinker is going to get his Boots of Travels almost certainly off of this camp clear.
Yeah, it's just so important to actually stack the camps. Viper strike onto Klasinki, who dodges it with a nice leap. But Viper, I mean, he definitely had no killing potential there as it is, I think, solo. So, Viper strike for leap.
Top lane RNT is going to get hexed and clapped and everything else, but there is some invisibility from the Mirana. Do they have any detection? They don't have any detection. There's another Fissure hitting 3 people. RNT does get out due to the Moonlight Shadow. Now he's going to turn the bear around onto the Skywrath Mage. But going in for a gank with that detection against Mirana, I mean, they were kind of asking for that to happen.
Yeah, and that's actually what we were talking about in the draft as well. just having the Moonlight Shadows, forcing your enemy to buy those wards, which of course Fabulous5, their supports, they just don't have enough gold for it at the moment, and Lone Druid even has a healing salve now. But Mech is finished on the Viper, so next fight, Fabulous5 they can just go in pretty deep, just rely on the burst heal coming out from the Mech, and well, we'll see if Central Fair actually want to focus on that tier 1 now.
They got Liquid Fire. They have a Bear who's pretty damn strong at the moment. Doesn't have much of anything. The Lone Druid is actually holding on to 1,500 gold. TP's coming on in, and the Gust Shot going first. Land on Mirana, but will fire off an arrow and a Fissure will both miss the Brewmaster, but Morphling's gonna come right in, hit the Mirana really hard, but instantly he gets entangled. In the meantime, they're still trying to slow down this Brewmaster from getting with the Clap split. He will circle around and will actually change his attention onto RNT. Clap will kill off one. Daywalker gets silenced before he can Echo Slam. He's going to get nothing. Now the split from the Brewmaster might be a little bit too late. Ice Path will slow down the Morphling. Brewmaster's still looking for a target. He will find Noctis with the rock, perhaps. Throw it. He's a little bit too slow. There it is. Thrown. But diving in tier 2, I don't know if they want to be doing that. They do get 2 kills. They spend the split a little bit unnecessarily, but 2 kills is 2 kills. They're going to be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, the Prime Split definitely didn't accomplish too much, but those kills were so important, especially because Gimli, he is still level 5, but thanks to that fight he's actually almost level 6 on the Shadow Shaman, and having those Mass Serpent Wards actually makes a world of difference, because then they can actually go for objectives as well, maybe even sneak in a Roche if they really want to. Just get the global gold, get the Morphling rolling, and overall Central Fear, they felt a little bit too confident in their ability to just take a team fight under the enemy tower. But once the Brewmaster came in and well, he had the Primal Split, you just don't really want to take a team fight in that, especially if there's no mech coming out, and that's actually one thing that Central Fear they might not even get throughout the entire game here. Because who's gonna build it? Shakiro, maybe, I guess?
Yeah, if anyone is going to build it, it's definitely going to be the Chikiro. But taking a fight after missing both your Arrow and your Fissure, not how you want to start, but speaking of Arrow, Fissure, both of them are going to land onto Gimli now. He will get mech'd up by the Viper, and Blom's trying to get in there with the Viper Strike, however, he's a little bit out of range, and the cooldown, there it is, finally thrown. Do they have any True Sight this time? There's some True Sight. The Jakiro gets absolutely destroyed. Top's going to come in as well. They do see the Earthshaker under the tier 1 tower. The Morphling going to Fissure through, will dodge the Fissure, and they'll secure the kill on the Earthshaker. This might be a tier 1 tower. Shadow Shaman is actually based, so he can't lay down Serpent Wards, not even level 6 just yet. But with the damage that they have, they should be able to take this without a problem.
Yeah, once again, really well done, and the mech just making a huge difference. Shadow Shaman would have been so dead without it. And even with the mech coming out, he still survived with like 90, maybe 100 HP or so, just steeping out straight away. Getting a tower on top of that, and tower-wise now, it is even. Both teams have destroyed their own safe lane in tier 1. But looking at the graphs, gold graph is actually pretty much zeroed out. Used to be almost 2,000 for Central Fear. As XP, 1k in Fabulous5's favor, so the dire side is looking good for the time being. Morphling just steadily farming up, picking himself up. Oh, watching mid lane, the Ice Path is there. They want to go aggressive onto Mama Club. Is that the best decision? He's silenced up as well. A nice Fissure is there, but a little bit too late. Scarf Mage gets himself a kill, but he's taking missiles to get the return. So in the end, was a support for support.
Yeah, they almost let that Jakiro walk away. Morphling actually missed his waveform, but they got the kill anyway, so no harm, no foul, I suppose. The Lone Druid does have himself a Mithril Hammer, so it looks like he's going to be going for a Lightning Hammer. And Morphling, he was holding on to, I think, 2,600 gold, but actually decided to pick up an Ultimate Orb. So I don't want to say it's going to be a Linken's, because I still think it's a really bad item. Possibly he's just going to rush up a Scotty.
It wouldn't be too bad of an item choice, just gives you so much stats, which is Morphling's bread and butter. Just any stat item will do. Well, almost at least. Not really fond of intelligence, I guess, but other than that, anything is good. And the waveform they go on to Noctis, will it be the best decision this time around? Kavorza, he's getting stunned up, but gets his Primal Split off anyway. Silence onto the Daywalker, and there's the Mystic Flare just in case to ensure the kill. And now Noctis trying to go for the TP out, he has the Blink as well. Can he TP in? Yes, he can. Oh man, it was so close for them to getting vision there properly. But tower down, getting the Earthshaker. So another victory for Fabulous5, 10-5 the kill score.
That would have been another one of those scenarios where if Morphling was tread switching the entire time, which I don't know if he was, but if he wasn't, then having 40 more mana for that Adaptive Strike would have secured the kill on the Tinker as well. Tread switching does matter, ladies and gentlemen. RNT will get caught out by Emily, who is almost dead. Blom's going to get rooted to the floor, and here comes the Tinker off the Spirit Flare. Instantly gets a 2-kill because of those heat-seeking missiles. Very smooth, and well, you don't really expect that to happen all too much. It's a very rare combo, but you mentioned in the draft, it is definitely a thing.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Tinker was so close to dying to the Viper there. The Tinker, he went in to defend the bottom tier 1. Viper got the kill on the tower and then started going for the Tinker. Just Viper strike up, going for those right clicks. But Tinker, he didn't panic too much. He just lasered Viper in the face, making sure that the 3-second miss will be there. And just TP'd out just barely, like literally one right click would have done the job, but the miss chance too strong. And the turnaround, man, 7-10 now. But Brewmaster has his own Blink Dagger, so Fabulous5, they have the Blink Thunderclap into Primal Split when it's off cooldown. Mass Serpent Wars are gonna be coming up in 10 seconds time. As Morphling as he have? Nope, just 1.7k, hasn't picked up anything yet. Drums, finished on the Mirana in the meantime. Plus, even a Mirfil Hammer, so they might be going for double Maelstrom even.
I think the Brewmaster is pretty much over the hump of the slow offlane start. He's level 9, which isn't the highest level in the game, but it's still a respectable level at this point in time, and has his Blink Dagger up. So if he can continue on this track, then he'll be able to do just as much if he was in the solo lane, or solo mid lane, as he usually is. So the Brewmaster is going to dodge most of the trouble there. Now the double damage rune on the Morphling, plus those Serpent Wards from the Shadow Shaman. They're going to try to go for Roshan, but it instantly will be scouted out by the Mirana. Incoming Roshan fight as Tinker is going to just start to slowly set up some machines and some missiles. Looks like everyone from Fab5 is going to back out for now. Serpent Ward's still picking away at that Roshan, but with no one else in there to follow up, they will not be able to take this one very easily. Everyone is in the area. Viper might even get ganked beforehand. No, just top right back in that pit, and now more missiles, more machines. Yeah, they won't be able to get this one out. Noctis actually does secure the kill onto the Skywrath Mage, wandered into the March of the Machines, and actually we see Mammoth. Oh man, why don't they have any True Sight? This is killing me. Rock gonna be thrown onto Mirana, will miss, and now RNT's gonna be the one who's in trouble. He will try to teleport out of there, he will get hexed up, and he will be brought down. Split has been used, and they will secure a Cyclone on Mirana, and she does not have another leap. However, the Earth Panda way too far away for another rock throw, and Mirana is off. They make a 1-for-1 trade, get a lone Druid, which is all well and good, but still the Roshan has not been brought down. Blom's looking for the Tinker and won't find him either. These March machines are making it so difficult for them to do anything. Tinker will teleport out from right under their nose. And Roshan, well, he's less than half HP, but I don't know if they could do it now.
Yeah, it's just delay tactics from Central Fear, of course. It definitely wasn't a favorable trade, losing the lone Druid, but oh, they're gonna get coverts. Indeed they are. Fisher to actually block him off first, and then just Klasinki together with Noctis coming in from the other side. But will we see some more kills? Gimli gonna get slowed down by Mama Club. Ice Path still on cooldown for another 4 seconds. Mech popped by Blomst. So that will be the end of it. But Brewmaster, he is dead. Lone Druid is coming back as well. He has his Spirit Bear summoned. So if they can maybe get like one more pick off, they can even sneak a Roche at the Radiant side.
They'll have the lone Druid Bear to tank it up. Not doing the most damage, but between the Bear to tank and the Liquid Fire to slow down Roshan's attack, it'll certainly be a very safe Roshan, albeit a little bit of a slow one. With Tinker laying down March after March, though, and now wielding a Dagon, any Roshan fight should go the way of Central Fear, although the Chihiro is going to get caught out. He will Ice Path the Viper, however, the Viper Strike plus level 4 Poison Attack will easily bring down the big dragon. And now Noctis is going to get silenced up, waveform in from top. Another concussive shot will be thrown, but Daywalker will take that, not the friendly Tinker. Roshan round 2, possibly?
Yeah, I think it's probably their best opening at the moment. Knowing that Shakira is dead, the Ice Path can be so devastating in a Roshan fight. And with the Mass Serpent Wars, they should be able to claim it fast enough as well. And well, they will finally get it. Kudos to them. And actually Shadow Shaman gets his Blink Dagger as well, just before Roshan goes down. AG is now on top on the Morphling. And oh yeah, he's going for the Lincoln Sphere after all. Perseverance in the stash, so just needs another 100 gold, a little bit more, to finish up the Lincoln's recipe. But man, you were talking about it. I completely agreed with you that the Lincolns might not be the best choice in this game, but he's still going for it.
Hey, you got an ultimate orb, 10 stats is okay, I guess. Get some regeneration. It's not going to get as much value as it would be in any other game. They're not going up against a Shadow Shaman or a Skywrath, in which case you really, really, really need that Lincoln Sphere. This game, the two supports are wielding massive AoE, so they don't really care to target the Morphling, and even if they did, I think you could block Fissure if it's a targeted Fissure, but not if it's just AoE. They're going to look for Jakiro, and this Shadow Shaman with the Blink Dagger going to be instrumental for Fab5 to start these fights. Together with the Brewmaster, they'll have, for now, the initiation advantage, aside from random fissures and arrows coming out from the Earthshaker and Mirana of the Central Fear side. But they're going to go for the mid lane tier 1, but pushing up into a Tinker, it's risky business.
Yeah, it's gonna be almost impossible for them, I think, unless they have mass open board or just get a jump on Central Fear. And I mean, Tinker is a hero that you just completely have to focus down, because if the Tinker has free range, just spamming out his spells, steeping back home, reaching up, coming back into the fight once again, they might not be able to do anything at all about it, because they actually didn't draft anything crazy to counter the Tinker at all.
Yeah, especially when you consider the fact that Tinker was picked up as the first pickup for Central Fear. You would have thought that Fab5 would have taken some precautions to deal with him. They didn't even try to... They tried to gank him twice. Those times did not end well for the Fab5 side. So I guess it's not a fair comparison there. However, they will catch RNT. The bear instantly will be brought back. Gimli can try to get a little bit of body blocking, and the shackles will go off. He's taking a lot of damage. However, Gimli might be the trade here as the Tinker does teleport in to the Spirit Bear. They will take out the Lone Druid. Tinker's going to jump forward for the Dagon Blast. Going to kill the Shadow Shaman. He'll quickly rearm, and the silence isn't there in time. He's going to try to TP out of there. The damage should be enough, though, with the Fissure coming a little bit too late for the friendly Earthshaker. It's going to be a 2-for-1. And with the Tinker dead, with the Lone Druid dead, Fab5 have found their opening.
Yeah, and not only that, Skyrift Mage got 835 gold for killing the Tinker, actually ending the unstoppable streak. Of course, Skyrift Mage, I guess, not the most impactful of heroes to get the gold on, but still, anything goes for Fabulous5 at the moment. They were actually falling behind. Looking at the graphs, it was around 1k in Central Fear's favor XP, almost 3000 or so. Nothing too major, but still, I do believe Central Fear to have the better late game. Viper definitely not the best late game carry as far as scaling goes. At the moment, has a mech, has an Aghanim Scepter, so his core items are finished rather early on. Highest net worth in the game as well. So they just have to have the most impact as early as they possibly can, and of course Earthshaker, having the Blink Dagger, can set up maybe a huge Echo Slam.
That's going to be an Echo Slam into a mech, into a Viper. Morphling does have an Aegis as well. Another Viper Strike going to be thrown. Will land on the Jakiro. Blink forward from the Brewmaster. They're going to look towards the Jakiro, and they'll secure him very, very swiftly. Very easily done by the Fab5 side. Tower plus a kill. Maybe now it's time to slide down to mid lane. Over Gimli's getting chased down by an angry bear. Bear will get hazed up, and Gimli trying to escape. However, the Blink is not cooperating with him. He's going to shackle up the bear. Over the bear with one more paw swipe will easily bring down the Shadow Shaman. Top's now in the area. Arrow will get fired. And I don't know if it landed on anyone, but it doesn't look like it. Porka was going to jump in for a split now. He wants to fight this, but where's the rest of his team? They're not here. He's going to try to go for the bear. Yeah, he's just miscommunicating with his team because he does not have backup to do that.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward, and of course, poor Gimli on the Shadow Shaman. Just getting bullied. The Lone Druid Spirit Bear providing vision, and then just heat-seeking missile after heat-seeking missile coming in, chasing him down. And actually just the Lone Druid Spirit Bear getting that one hit early on, having the Orb of Venom, preventing the Shadow Shaman from getting a blink away. Oh man, I really felt the pain of the Shadow Shaman trying to escape there. But not happening, and like you said as well, some miscoordination coming out from Fabulous5's team. Brewmaster wanting to go in.
This is going to run into top. They're going to trade hits, but not much of anything. Top's going to spend a lot of mana in replicating forward. Here comes the Brewmaster. They're going to drop a Sentry and a Waveform for this Tinker kill. Arrow's going to fly through, hit on Skavorka. Does not have Split because he used it earlier. And now Skywrath Mage is going to get really way too close. We'll drop a Mystic Flare, hitting absolutely no one. Gimli, in the meantime, is going to get focused by the bear as per usual. Serpent Wards have been dropped, and Mirana's barely going to leap away. No, the Serpent Wards, they will attack and follow her down the hill. Top's going to get stunned up, chained, but he will have an Aegis to fall back on, so he's going to be fine to fight. Blomp's now coming in. He doesn't have that much mana, however, he will get one kill for his team, and now with the poison attack on Shakiro, that's going to be an easy second, and ultimately a 4-kill, 4 for 2, as Fab5 lose their 2 supports to claim almost everyone on the Central Fear side, and now maybe it's time to knock down the tier 2 mid tower.
Yeah, that was just an excellent fight for them. Yes, they lost 2 heroes, but only supports, and most importantly of all, the Morphling, just getting so much gold out of it. I mean, he used to be number 4 in net worth, now he's just tied for number 1 with Viper. Just 40 gold difference between them. Oh man, that was such a huge fight for them, and they're probably gonna get tier 2 as well. Or are they? No, they're backing off for the time being. They don't want to take any chances, so playing it safe. Being happy with their advantage that they got. 2.8k gold on the Morphling, so what do you think Top's next item is actually gonna be?
I think it's got to be that shotgun. It's not going to be the fastest one in the world, but if he does get that Ethereal Blade up, if he can snipe out the Earthshaker, at this point still the Mirana is a very valuable target to take out. it'll be absolutely huge for him. The Aegis does get expired, and blink forward, they're all going to miss. The Mirana leaps away. A little more aggression, not going to find much of anything. Arrow and Retaliation won't find its target. So it looks like no blood will be spilled down in the bottom lane. But yeah, I think it's pretty much shotgun or bust. So, although if he does go for something big like Scotty, I won't really blame him for that either.
Actually, it is gonna be a shotgun. I didn't even notice it before, but he already has a Ghost Scepter in the inventory, so actually only needs 200 more gold to finish up the shotgun. So he's considerably closer than I thought he is. So, yep, another like 15 seconds he's gonna have it. The courier already waiting at the secret shop as well. Just getting that Eagle song ready, and man, that shotgun, it can make a huge difference, especially when comboed up with the Ancient Seal of the Skyref.
The Jakiro dropped in Observer Ward, was instantly dewarded by top, which gave him just enough gold to pick up his shotgun, and that I'm pretty sure is going to be used on Jakiro eventually. So just a little bit of poetic warding and dewarding going down in the bottom lane. But yeah, they definitely made the right call by falling back from that bottom lane. Tinker was up, and now top lane, Womps is going to be on the run, does have a Viper Strike, and he does have that level 4 Corrosive Skin, but that's only going to help you for so long when the Tinker is hot on your heels. Laser, missiles, blink forward, laser, missile, Dagon. It's the Tinker combo special, and Viper is going to get punished by that. There's jump forward for RNT. He will get disrupted out of his teleportation attempt. Shadow Shaman will secure the kill there. It's 1-for-1 trade, ultimately not going the worst for Fab5, as it looked like they weren't going to get anything at all.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad trade, I think. Especially since the Lone Druid, he's been struggling so hard as it is. I mean, he went for the Maelstrom early on, but now he has 3.2k gold, so it looks like he wants to go for a really late Radiance. Or at least, it's the only item I can think of which would just warrant him saving up as much gold as he has. So the Lone
Druid,
yeah, go ahead. He's not done anything this game almost, except for being a pain to the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why he's going to be going for what looks like a super late Radiance. Not only is it going to continue to be a pain in the ass for the Shadow Shaman, but also when the enemy has a Brewmaster on the field, getting that Radiance burn, denying that blink is going to be huge. It's, of course, not going to be used for straight up damage, and then it looks like he's just going to pick up a Hyperstone, so scratch everything I just said. He's going to be completing an Assault Cuirass for the team, it looks like. I doubt that's going to be a Mjolnir.
Yeah, I hope it's not going to be a Mjolnir, to be honest. But I guess maybe he was like, okay, if I can get the Radiance, if I don't die within the next, let's say, 3-4 minutes or something, get the Radiance at the 30 to 32 minute mark, it might be worth it. But with that death, it's like, oh, maybe it's going to be too slow. I guess we'll never know whether he wanted to go for the Radiance at all or just straight up AC. But top lane, they get the Hex on Glasinki. Can they get the Shackles to follow up? Yes, they can, but do they have enough damage even then? Leap is already in cooldown. He has the drums. Is he going to be fast enough? Drums popped. Blink. Kavorza. Right clicking. Yes, the other shot from Gimli finishes the kill. And I was thinking Mirana probably going to make the escape, but not quite.
That shows the power of the Hex. Having such a fast cast time, the spell comes out almost instantaneously, if not purely instantaneously. If that was a Vengeful Spirit teleporting in, or an Earthshaker or Jakiro, that Mirana would have been home free. But Hex comes out so damn quickly, it's near impossible to avoid. As soon as that teleportation was down and the Mirana was still there, it's either leap away or simply go down, and well, that's exactly what happened. So Shadow Shaman helping out, and yet another kill. Will get a little bit more warding money, but I think right now it's going to be Fab5 just chilling for just a little while longer. Manta Style is going to be picked up on the Viper very shortly. Top of the shotgun is not going to have the easiest Roshan in the world, needs certain wards to be dropped, but if they secure this Aegis, they could look to take down the rest of the tier 2 towers.
Yeah, they definitely can. Aghanim Scepter also finished on Brewmaster, so we'll have most importantly the double Thunderclap from the Panda itself, and then the Earth ruling as well. And actually, Central Fear, they picked up a gem on Mama Club, Shakiro. So they want to regain some map control, because at the moment, looking at the graphs again, Central Fear, they used to be in lead for the majority of the time, but after a couple of good fights for Fabulous5, it's 3k gold in their favor, and XP also around 2000, all in all a 6k swing or so. And they did get the Roshan, didn't even need the Mass Serpent Wars for that, as all of their heroes just came together, so that's another Aegis on Morphling. He has a double damage rune as well. Oh, this could be devastating.
They're all going to group up on the mid lane there without their Skywrath Mage for the moment. The silence is certainly very useful, but I'm not yeah, I don't actually think they could do this without their Skywrath Mage, especially when they're fighting into a Tinker. The only reason they got the top lane tier 2 tower down is because they picked off the Tinker beforehand, and if that doesn't happen, then pushing into these towers with the March and the missile spam is going to be very, very difficult, especially since no one on the team has anything close to a pipe. Brewmaster has a cloak, maybe a pipe eventually, but no pipe means no push. And now the Skywrath Mage will be spotted out by Mirana. He will dodge the big arrow, however, lots of small arrows will follow suit. He's going to force staff himself away and be just fine, but the split push from the Tinker and now the Mirana up on top lane, really forcing Fabulous5 hands.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice thing that he's doing at the moment, just split pushing like that. As long as what happened before doesn't happen again. He can't really afford to die because, yes, the Tinker does have a pretty nice amount of farm, but the Tinker solo carrying isn't the best thing you should look forward to. So, as many cores as you can have farm, the better.
Fab5, they're all smoked up. There is some vision from Central Fear, Sentries, and Observers. Of course, that won't help detect the smoke, but it will lure them into a false sense of security. Top is going to secure the top lane counter push, and it looks like they'll just very easily take down that tier 2 in the mid lane. Now turn their sights to RNT, who, if he doesn't teleport right away, looks like he may be in a little bit of trouble. Gimli is going to blink forward. RNT looking for the Hex is Gimli. You'll get the shock and the Hex onto the Spirit Bear. Free gold, why not? Now going for RNT. Can they disable him long enough? They can't. But Free Bear is Free Bear. 300 Gs is pretty damn good. Skywrath Mage is going to feel pretty happy about that. And now Blomps is going to try to go for the Trigger. The Viper Strike might take him out. Now he's going to pop the man style, confuse a little bit. And Top's going to jump right in for the shotgun onto the Tinker. And Clancy is going to leap out of the trees. The Mirana's going to be just fine. Blomps will get tagged with the Fissure, picking up the gem for just a little while longer, but he's going to be brought down immediately. Now Top going to wait for him forward with that shotgun, try to go for Daywalker. But however, now he's completely out of mana. He'll use the Aegis here, it looks like. Not a terribly huge deal, especially with the cavalry coming right in. It's going to be Korvika jumping forward, going to get the slam onto 2. RNT is invisible. They do, however, see him. Now in Mystic Flare, going to finish off that Lone Druid very, very easily. 3 down, and with the Tinker down most crucially. Shadow Shaman still alive, still has the wards. It's going to be a mid lane push for the tier 3 tower.
Yeah, the Tinker just completely poofed. Morphin came in, used the shotgun, and that's Tinker down almost already. And of course, Tinker not really building any survivability items like a Bloodstone. Even a Hex would give him some stats into strength. But no, just going for that Dagon, which is level 2, and a Ghost Scepter on him as well. Arrow will land on Gimli, but Master Pet Wars came just before now. Another shotgun Daywalker, he is completely blown up. No Earthshaker, he has Buyback though if he really wants to use it. Another silence onto Classic. This time around, Blink, Thunderclap as well. Primal Split is there. I don't know if he can get the kill. Maybe the silence, the boulder just actually buys enough time and prevents the leap from coming out. I was so skeptical about them timing so hard for Mirana, but it worked out and there's no buyback on him either.
Tinker is up, but March of the Machines and missiles can only do so much as the range Raxes are going to be pecked down by the Morphling Serpent Wards. About half of them firing at the melee Raxes. They're going to put some damage on the Shakira, who does still have the gem up, so if he dies, it'll be pretty bad, but the melee Rax are going to be taken. Morphling will be more than happy with that trade. A little bit of damage on himself for a free set of melee Raxes. Fab5, they've taken one of the 3 big objectives in this game, and with the Tinker on the field, getting that first lane of Rax is just so huge, because now he's going to be forced to split his attention between mid lane, and then in the future, whatever lane Fab5 are going to be wanting to push.
Oh yeah. Look at Morphling's gold. 6.3k in the bank. Literally any item in the game is his if he wants to go for it. And well, goes for a Manta style. Can of course split push some extra as well if need be. Getting some extra stats, the movement speed. Never a bad thing, especially if you have to run through the March of the Machines, so the faster you do it, the better. But just look at the double illusions doing work, both the Vipers and the Morphlings.
It's also super useful when you're in danger of being entangled. Being able to split out of that is certainly a very, very useful thing to have in your arsenal. And well, now they're going to start chipping away at the bottom lane tier 2. They don't even have their full squad here, but Morphling with shotgun, bringing the Lone Druid, I think the tankiest hero on the Central Fear side, down to half HP with just 1 shotgun blast from the Adaptive Strike Ethereal Blade combo. And now just slowly but surely they're going to start working down this bottom tier 2 tower, while in the meantime the Brewmaster up on top side is going to be pushing that. So split push is going to be the name of the game for now. They're going to be more than comfortable doing this since mid lane is eventually going to be pushed as well. We're on dealing with that for now, but this tier 2 tower is not long for life.
Yeah, and they will claim it as well. The last outer tower gone now. As Fabulous5, they just gained so much map control. Unfortunately, they actually got the gem for like half a minute max, I think, when Morphling killed the Jakiro before. But since they got it back, it's all good for Central Fear. I mean, if they still had lost the gem completely, never regained the position back of it, it would be so much worse off for them, I think. Because just having any kind of map control or just getting any kind of vision for Central Fear is so crucial, since otherwise they would be completely forced into their base, but now they can feel at least that tiny bit safer when going out.
Especially since Shadow Shaman and Brewmaster have those Blink Daggers. Ideally, you would want to know at all times where they're coming from. But I think at this point, it's the Morphling who you need to have vision of. If you don't have vision of the Morphling, then half of the heroes on the Central Fear side, they have to play very, very far back, else get shotgunned. And that's a dangerous threat right there. They're going to gear up for the bottom lane after putting a little bit of more momentum down towards mid. Mirana's still pushing up top, so the split push isn't going to be in full effect just yet. Tinker laying march upon march upon march, has one more point in rearm, so we'll be able to layer that up a little bit better in the future. But slowly the split push is going to start to erode at the Radiant team.
Yeah, and of course, Fabulous5, they have the luxury of just waiting it out. They don't really have to go high ground themselves on the bottom lane, since mid lane will always be pushing in. And just wait for the perfect opportunity when Central Fear are split up a little bit with their heroes, then go in with the blinks. Maybe wait for the timing that Noctis doesn't put down much of the machines, although that's gonna be almost never unless they apply a lot of pressure on other lanes.
Morphling is doing that right as we speak. I mean, he does have the replicate up for another 20 seconds, so at the drop of the hat, he'll be able to teleport, I believe, back to the mid lane, although I'm not too sure where his illusion is. Do you see his illusion anywhere?
It's actually under the tower, the tier 3 Viper. Man, such a tanky illusion, even the replicate.
Oh.
6 seconds left, Mass Serpent Wars calm down. And Morphling will he come back in? And Tanky Claws as well, 1 more second. No, he actually stays on the top lane, so wants to push that in. Mass Serpent Wars gonna get farmed up by the Spirit Bear by the looks of it. Or no, they back off with the Spirit Bear as well. Letting the tower do its job itself.
Well, I get the tower down to half HP, which is not the best use of Mass Serpent Wards, but the way they're playing is just so patient, so slow, that they'll be able to wait it out and just come back again in just a little while longer, especially since Top on the top side has also brought this tower down to about half HP, and he does have a replicate, which won't really help him escape, but will waveform out of there just fine. So yeah, very slowly but surely, Fab5 are going to start to chip away at this base of Central Fear. Mid lane is pushing in as well, so they have Serpent Wards up in another minute. They're going to play it super slow, super safe, and I think this is the correct decision for them.
Oh man, Fabulous5. I thought like maybe they're gonna wait for the next Roshan, but they actually got a completely maxed out timer, 11 minutes altogether. So Fabulous5 can't get a hold of another Aegis and Cheese for another 3 minutes, but then again, I guess they can just keep on sieging like they are. Morphling keeps on getting more gold, 4.8k in the bank once again. And he might just become completely unstoppable at some point, because the Tinker just doesn't have enough. Yes, 3.7k gold. So could buy up the Dagon 3 soon enough, but of course wants to save for buyback as well.
You're going to try to kill off a Morphling as Tinker. You pretty much always need to either get the jump on him through Lincoln Sphere or have a Sheep Stick. And right now, he certainly is nowhere close to that Sheep Stick. He's going to go for a Ethereal Blade of his own. So it's a nice item to have on the Tinker, especially when you're going to be going for people like Shadow Shaman or Skywrath Mage. But when you have to deal with this Morphling, it's going to be really difficult to get a bead on him, since he is packing 5,200 gold. I think at this point, getting just pure bulk and then just items to help him sit in the March of the Machines is got to be what you want to do. He's doing so much damage, especially with that Ethereal Blade, that damaging people isn't the issue, it's just surviving.
You mean, I really wouldn't even mind something like a Heart of Tarask, although I guess Satanic is the more common choice for Morphlings. Just getting some strength going, as well as having the lifesteal. I mean, a couple of right clicks would just bring you back to full HP if need be. So
and also make these Manta illusions that much deadlier, because they just got shredded within this March. And well, regardless, they're going to go for round 2. Serpent Wards do get dropped. Now melee Rax is going to start taking a little bit of damage. Viper is dropping fairly low. He will teleport back to the base. He does have travels up, but they do secure the range Rax without putting themselves at almost any risk at all. The melee Rax will be defended for now, but Central Fear, they just don't have any answers to this. They're going to slowly be chipped away, and Morphling, he is going to be entangled, but shotgunning the Jakiro. He loses vision, actually. Now Top might be in a little bit of trouble, but no. Replicate is pretty balanced, and he's going to get himself out of there.
Pretty balanced indeed. And well, they're just... they don't really care that they didn't get melee Rax, I think. As long as the lane is going to be pushing in by itself, they're fine, because it just frees up Roshan so damn well. And what? Daywalker, the Earthshaker, he went for a 40-minute Hand of Midas. Does this mean that he's completely given up on the game, or does he literally think that they have a chance when they take it like 20 minutes further or something?
That's like just might be an Arteezy Midas, but I think the thought process behind that is I'm not getting any gold, right? Because we're constantly being pushed, and I need to get some gold. The Earthshaker's alternatives will be something like a Force Staff, which will be very helpful against the Brewmaster. So yeah, I don't know what he's doing with that item.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't make sense in the slightest. You would want something that can help. Maybe on a Force Staff to just get your friends out of trouble or something like that. And Daywalker might be in trouble himself, getting hexed up. Easy kill, shotgunned up by top. And all that Midas, little good does it do him now.
Maybe he figures if I'm gonna get one shot, I might as well be one shot with reliable gold in my inventory rather than a dead Force Staff. Maybe.
I guess so, man. It's not like even if he goes for a BKB, he might still get chumped like that. Just blink hex, he can't really activate the BKB even. And actually, Klasinki still has his own BKB on 10 seconds on the Mirana. I think he picked it up like 5 to 7 minutes ago at least, if not more. But really hasn't been able to use it even because Central Fear, they just haven't been willing to take a fight. And with this, there's an Aegis and a cheese on Fabulous5 now.
And Morphling does have travels, so the split push from the Mirana and from the Tinker going to be a little less effective, especially with the Brewmaster jumping in. Instantly, the Mirana is going to get herself out of there. Taking down a free tier 2 tower is all well and good, but it's not nearly enough. And now Noct is going to get shotgunned down, almost completely 100-0. Top will secure the kill so very easily. Tinker did not see that one coming. Now with Tinker down, they could push to at the very least force a buyback from this Tinker.
Just such a crucial pickup. Morphling just doing it solo, and what he's going for even more. He's going to lose his Aegis straight away. Might even lose his life the second time, although there are no stuns. Arrow on cooldown as well. So top gets the wave out. Lincoln's pop there. But that actually wasn't really the best use of the Aegis there.
Yeah, not only do they lose the Aegis, they also lose his replicate, which means split pushing is going to be a little bit harder for the Morphling. Tinker's still down for another 35 seconds, but Morphling, feeling a little bit suicidal, is now going to be handed the cheese. So he'll have that additional lifeline as Gimli does jump in for those Serpent Wards. Now the Morphling Illusion is going to start to peck away. However, the Mirana is easily going to clear out these Serpent Wards, bringing them down one hit each, but still the Rack is going to drop in. The shotgun once again hitting hard onto the Jakiro. Blomps is going to try to go for RNT. Jump forward from the Brewmaster. He's going to get the split off. Daywalker will get the pretty good Echo Slam, dropping Gimli pretty low. But Gimli's still alive at the moment, is going to survive for now. Noct is going to finish off that kill. But only the Lone Druid and the Tinker are alive, as the Lone Druid also has lost his bear. Morphling very healthy, does still have the cheese. And they're going to ignore the top lane and just go for the GG right now. With only Tinker and Lone Druid, they could take them both if they decide to fight. And if they sit in their fountain spamming off missiles, well, that's just fine for the Fab5 side. I think going for top lane is probably a little bit smarter. They'll be able to get something done here. But yeah, for now they're going to be repelled. March is going to start to be layered up. They might get a tier 4 tower, but it's not the best outcome for them.
Yeah, definitely if they had just switched to the tier 3 as well as the racks on the top lane, maybe would have been the safer choice, I guess. One tier 4 is down. They still have a pretty commanding lead of this game, but to be honest, just getting the mega creeps could have sealed the deal, I think. What? A secondary meta style. Nope, Morphling sells it straight away. Misclick, butterfly instead.
Man, it's a good thing these mechanics exist to protect players from that, because that would have been a pretty bad way to use gold. I mean, obviously 11-0-2, Morphling is rolling in gold. He has more money than God. He's fine with spending, 5,000 gold on another Manta style because he's just wealthy like that, but yeah, still. He will secure the butterfly. Not going to help him too much as far as that evasion is concerned. It's just a lot of agility.
It certainly is, and that's not the only item pickup that they have. Blomst also picks up a Mjolnir for himself now on the Viper. Shiva's card was there on Brewmaster before the last fight even, I think. And Road of Atos on the Skyraf as well. So they're just filthy rich, all of them really, just getting so many towers, getting the kills in their favor as well. I mean, 20k gold lead, XP lead, around 17,000 in gold. So, is there a way for Central Fear to come back? I mean, I guess with a Tinker, in theory, there is, but do you think they can hold on?
Maybe if their Lone Druid had a little bit more, I'd feel a little bit more confident for them. Maelstrom, Assault Cuirass, Demon Edge is okay, but not when you're 2 racks down. You need a little bit more than that, especially since Morphling is very, very close to being completely 6-slotted. Viper is almost completely 6-slotted. It has power treads to get rid of, but that's about it. They're going to slowly push out the top lane, do the exact same thing as they did before, but it's going to be a little bit easier this time. They got Manta-style illusions from the Viper, which are pretty tanky at this point, and Morphling, of course, will have his replicate, so we can send that in whenever he wants to get that going. He's going to slowly push out the bottom lane while the rest of his team slowly pushes out the top lane. And Central Fear, if they don't make an action happen right now, they're going to lose these Raxes. So they have to find a fight now, and there's no more delaying.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the last fight. The tower is so low already. And just having them again accept their Mass Serpent wards, and there they go down as well. Easy tier 3 Rax. Probably going to fall soon enough as well. Top comes into the replicate, range tracks, they're down. If the melee forward, it's probably gonna be all over, and Central Fear, they're not even trying to defend, not yet. Morphling though, the heroic connects. Can they bring him down? Nope. He pops the cheese, he's alive. Mama Club goes down to the Mystic player, and that's GG being called. Mirana with his BKB gets the leap out, but RNT gonna get slowed down by the concussive shot. Noctis gets a counter kill, but gonna lose his life for it. And man, that's really well played by Fabulous5 overall.
Yeah, I mean, they pushed the lineup from the Radiant, didn't really come into fruition at a certain point. By the end of the game, Fab5 still had 2 tier 2 towers up, so Jakiro fell off really hard. Lone Druid was constantly demolished all game, and all that combined with the Morphling, which hasn't died a single time, is going to mean a very, very easy game 1 for Fab5.
Yeah, I mean, at the start it looked pretty decent for Central Fear. The kills were even, then Fabulous5 pulled ahead a little bit. Central Fear came back, just inching a few kill difference there, but in the end, just a little bit getting caught out a little bit too much, I guess. The Tinker just dying a couple too many times there.
Yep, guys, so that is going to conclude game number 1. This is a best of 2 series, so we're going to be coming back with game number 2 in just a little bit. So everyone stay tuned for game 2. It's going to come soon.
Indeed it will, and with that, we're going to head into the second lobby. Just a few songs to ease the passing of time. So guys, see you in game 2.